And the name of my company is called U.S. Commercial and Business Capital. And so what we do is we help people find the cheapest, the least expensive money for their projects is the easiest way to explain it. On one side of my business, I'm working with real estate investors who are growing their commercial portfolios. And on the other side of the business, I'm helping business owners get money to start businesses, buy businesses, grow their existing business, and franchise. So I look forward to speaking to you more about that here shortly.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Next, we do have Melissa from Buckingham Mortgage. She is going to be also one of the speakers you'll be hearing from today. We are a partner in the same organization, and we are here to educate you and talk about the ways that different things can help our small business owners today. Melissa, can you just introduce yourself and let them know what you'll be talking about today?
Yes, absolutely. My name is Melissa Alvarado, like Shante mentioned. I am at Buckingham Mortgage, senior loan officer there. I specialize in first-time home buyers, VA loans, investment loans, and also self-employed clients. So I'm here and we're going to be talking about specifically one of those topics, which is for self-employed and how to leverage, right, your cash flow and utilize some of the programs that we offer, such as bank statements and profit and loss. So we'll get onto that. Thank you, Shante.
Great, thank you, Melissa. And next, I'm going to introduce the lovely Jennifer Johnson. Just give a quick intro, who you are and what you're going to be speaking on today. I think, Jennifer, you muted.
My name is Jennifer Johnson. I'm a licensed real estate broker and owner of Metro Realty 360, licensed in Virginia, DC, and Maryland. I'm also a loan officer and colleague of Melissa. We'll be talking today about renting and owning real estate with regards to your business.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. And we have Eric on the line. I would like for you to introduce yourself and some of the things that you'll be sharing about your business today as well.
Hey, I'm Eric McConaty. My business is Tactical Growth Strategies. I do business coaching, so I can go through once your business is established, how a coach can help you achieve the goals that you're trying to set for the business and do all the business side of it.
All right, thank you so much. So to not let time go by, people will continue to join. As you continue to join, you can just drop your information in the chat. We will give time for our speakers to do questions and answers at the end. We just want them to talk about their subject matter, get the points that'll be useful to you guys out, and we will allow for others to do question and answers. You'll be able to write out your questions in the chat. And I will be able to see if you do want to speak, raise your hand, and I'll allow you to speak and be able to ask questions at the end. All right, thank you very much. So we are going to get started here. So we are going to start with Andrew Cuby from US Capital, and he is going to talk on different subject matters in relation to small business funding, some different SBA programs, but I'll let him take it from here since he is here with us and blessed us with his presence. Thank you so much, Andrew. You can go ahead and take control of the screen if you need be, and you can start your presentation.
Okay, great. And everybody can see me, I would imagine. All right, so yeah, as Shantae said, thank you again for having me, Shantae. As she said, the name of my company, it's called U.S. Commercial and Business Capital. Um, so not only do I help investors finding money for their commercial real estate projects, but I'll also help business owners get money to start businesses, buy businesses, grow their existing business and franchise. And that's what I'll be talking about today. Um, I have I have hundreds of banking relationships I've been able to establish over the years. And some of those relationships are SBA lenders or banks out there that help you get money to start businesses, buy businesses, grow your existing business, and then franchise. And just so everyone knows, if you're a business owner looking to do one of those things, uh, the government, through the Small Business Administration, has set aside $5 million for your business. Now, it used to be $5 million per person, but that recently got changed. So, as long as you have a different NAICS code, um, then and you have multiple businesses, then you have $5 million per business. So what we do is we help the clients not only get money to start businesses, but to use that $5 million throughout their, throughout the first several years of the loan, first couple years of the loan in some cases, to be able to scale and to be able to grow. So the first thing I'll talk about is starting a business. So if you're starting a business, again, out of probably 40 to 50 lenders that I work with that are SBA, there's only about a handful of them out there right now that even work with startups. So, you might go to the bank and want to start a business, and your banker says, "Hey, I want 20% to put down, and you got to show some reserves, and you got to bring some people on with more experience." I mean, there could be a lot of different things that they tell you, but keep in mind, typically when you buy a business, you want to come up with at least, I'm sorry, when you start a business, you want to come up with at least 10% for a down payment to start a business. So let me let you know what that looks like. If somebody comes to me and needs $400,000 to start their business, they have experience in that industry, or they're bringing somebody on board with them that does. Um, they have good credit, say good credit, probably mid 600 on up. Um, and they have a vision. They have a vision for growth. They have a vision, and the numbers make sense. And then so what we do is we work with that business owner, help them with their business plan, help them with their projections, uh, and make sure that they're ready to uh, we're ready to talk to a bank or a lender about their project. So what we do is we help them get ready on the startup to make sure once we move forward, we're going to get financing. Um, and that's based off of the experience that I have in doing this. So, let's say somebody comes to me and says, Andrew, I need $400,000 to start my business. I need 100,000 in inventory. I need 100,000 in working capital. I need 100,000 in build out for this place I'm going to lease, and I need 100,000 in cash. So that lender or that client is getting a $400,000 loan before cost. It's easier to kind of explain, but a $400,000 loan, they're required to put down 10%, which is $40,000. But what do they walk away with? They walk away with 100,000 in cash, 100,000 in equipment, 100,000 in rehab, 100,000 in fixtures for the office, whatever they needed it. So keep in mind, as a business owner, when you're starting a business, you're going to walk back. You're going to walk away with a lot more money than you started to be successful. That means the bank believes in your project. They believe in you, and I say bank, that could be bank or lender, but they believe in you, and they're willing to give you enough money for you to be successful based off your plan. Now, that money is always based on a 10-year amortization. So it's spread out pretty long compared to a bank loan. Bank loans are 3 to 5 to sometimes 7 years. This is a 10-year loan. So it's spread out to try to keep the payments down as low as possible for you to be successful as possible. Now, if somebody comes to me and says, Andrew, I need 400 for my business, but I'd like to buy this real estate over here at 700,000. So I need 1.1 million. And I still need the 100,000 cash and equipment and the rehab and all that. But I want to buy the property. Now, again, it's 10% of the total project cost. So again, you're getting your money back in cash to replace the money that you had to put in. But now all your money is on a 25-year amortization because you own the real estate. So business owners that are starting now, every market is going to be different, right? Some markets, you got to be in Tyson's Corner, Virginia. There's no properties for sale under $5 million probably. So this This loan goes up to 5 million bucks. But in other markets, it makes more sense to own the real estate instead of lease at the beginning of the process when you're starting a business, because everything is based on your projections. A lot of clients come to me after year one, hey, I've run out of space, I'm looking to grow. I'm like, I wish I would have talked to you last year because your accountant said that you didn't make any money this year. You're going to have to make money now before we can help you buy real estate. So that's what I do to help businesses start businesses, or people to start businesses. The other thing I do under SBA, this is all the SBA 7A loan. There are two SBA loans, a 7A and a 504, and I'll explain the differences on that. The 7A, you can buy property, you can buy real estate, you can get cash, you can get equipment, you can pay off high interest rate business debt, all at the time of the purchase. On the SBA 504 loan, there's a couple differences, but the main difference is you can't get cash and you can't get inventory under an SBA 504 loan, right? So we're going to talk about the 7A. So let's say I'm a business and I'm currently leasing the real estate that I'm in. I have a program that not a lot of people have heard about, and I call it the rent replacement program. This is 100% financing for that business owner who's currently leasing their real estate. They've been in business for 2 years. They're showing a profit on their tax returns, and they've run out of space or they're not in a good location. Give you an example. If you're a business owner showing 100,000 in profit and you're paying $5,000 a month in rent, doesn't matter how you get to these numbers, but $5,000 a month in rent is 60,000 a year. I'm using 160 to qualify you because your rent's going away. The magic number is 8.5 times. 160,000 times 8.5 equals 1.36 million. So in that scenario, that business owner qualifies for a $1.36 million loan under the rent replacement program for no money down. They can, and let's say, for instance, they qualified for 1.36. They said, hey, Andrew, I like this property over here for $1 million. Now they have 360,000 left over to get equipment, pay off debt, business debt, rehab to the property, or get cash. Maybe they're having to hire new employees as they're growing. They need money to cover the employees' pay for 3 to 6 months while their business gets up and running. This is what the money's for. It's out there for you to do that. Sometimes in a situation, the client says, hey, Andrew, I qualify for 1.36 million for the no money down, but I want to buy this property for 2 million. This is the property we need. In that situation, you can get creative. You can do 5% and have the seller contribute 5% in some situations, or you can do 10%. So let's say you found a property to buy for $1 million. You said I needed 200 in cash and 100,000 in equipment or inventory. Now I'm at 1.3 million. Even in that situation, you're putting 130,000 down, but you're walking away with 300,000. So every situation, for the most part, unless getting up to the $4 to $5 million range, really you're getting your money back at the time of the closing for all these loans. Um, so business expansions, that's for business owners that are looking to buy real estate to expand, or either they're leasing and they still need to do a build out and they need money to grow their business. So SBA, you can do it either way. Just remember, on a lease, it's a 10-year amortization. When you own the property, it's a 25-year amortization. So once you look at the lease payments and the loan payments together versus the mortgage payment, a lot of times the mortgage payment is going to be less. The third thing about the SBA 7A is business to business. So what we do is we help clients that are looking to buy businesses. We also help clients that are looking to sell businesses. So the clients that are looking to sell businesses come to me and say, hey, I understand you got 30 or 40 banks. Reach out and see which bank's going to say my business is worth the most. So sometimes I help those sellers, finding a lender that, that likes their business better. They're not as conservative. They give it a higher value. So typically when you buy a business, um, the main thing that we're looking at is the business that you're buying. We're also looking at you. We're looking at you have 10% to put down of the total project cost. Uh, if you have some experience in that industry, it makes it easier, but it's not necessary. The main thing that they're looking at is the business that you're buying. What do the last 3-year tax returns show? What does the year-to-date P&L and balance sheet show? It's not how much money they have going through their bank statements every month. Now, if you're a cash buyer, then that would be more important to you. But if you're a buyer that needs financing, the first thing to ask is for the last 3-year tax returns. I'll give you a quick example how that works. Is let's say you have a business out there showing $1 million in profit. And again, this is industry specific, but give you an idea. If your business is $1 million in revenues, and let's say 100,000 in profit, okay, showing 100,000, your business is going to be worth anywhere between 3 to 500,000. Now, there's certain add backs that we can add back into the 100,000. It could be one-time business expenses, depreciation. Maybe the client is paying themselves a lot more money than you'd be paying yourself. Those are add backs that we can add back into that business to make it have more value. The last thing is franchise. I help franchisees get money. They're starting. They want to start a franchise. They're tired of the corporate world and they want to do something for their family, or they just want to add to their portfolio. And so the way franchise funding works under the SBA 7A, it's kind of like all the other loans. Um, 10% down of the total project cost. Sometimes, so it is a startup, sometimes I've seen lenders go for 15% down, but uh, if you have some experience in your industry, 10% shouldn't be a problem. Um, so they're kind of the 7A loans. Now, all these loans have working capitals loans for them. I have one lender that can get you, if you have a 700 credit score, let's say you're showing a loss in your business, but you have profit, but you're showing revenues of 150 or more, they can get you 150,000 in cash and you can be showing a loss. That's a 10-year loan. So it's amortized over 120 months, which will save you money on a monthly basis. There's all types of other money that I know about for business owners, whether you're looking for just, some people are saying, hey, Andrew, where's the cheapest way I can get 100 grand? And so I can give them that information. So the last program is the SBA 504 program. Now, to go back to the 7A loan, that has a 3-year prepayment penalty. Okay, so if you can pay more on the loan every month, uh, but you can't pay it off for the first 3 years of the loan, or you get assessed with a penalty. It's a 5-3-1. So if you try to pay it off in year one, it costs you 5% of the loan amount. If you try to pay it off in year two, it's 3%. In year three, it's 1%. So that's a good loan. That the rates adjust every quarter. Okay. There's some lenders that have a 5-year fixed, but right now the SBA rates are based off of the Wall Street Journal Prime, which is at 7.5. And what these banks do is you go into, because I have about 30 of them that do it all the same way. They're doing prime plus anywhere between 1.5 and 3%. I have lenders right now that are doing it prime minus one. So I have lenders under SBA that are doing 100% financing at 6.5%, where most banks are 10% and they're prime plus 1.5 to 2.5%. So that's kind of the pricing on that. And then on the SBA 504 loan, that's good for your bigger projects. So if you get up into the you know, three, anywhere from 2 to 5 million bucks, it's going to be a better loan for you. Typically, what most banks do, 15. If you go to this loan with a startup, it requires 15% down, where the 7A is only 10% down. This is going to let you build the land, build a building, get any equipment that you need for your business. The only thing you can't get is working capital and inventory. Um, there's actually two loans. The SBA does a loan, the bank does a loan, and it actually, I have a bank right now that does this on a 33-year amortization, where there's only one bank I know in the country that does this. The first 3 years can be interest only. So this is a great program. I'm doing a lot under this company's 504 loan, especially if you're starting off a new business and you're buying real estate, or you just want to keep your payments as low as possible. The 504 loan is going to be the best loan. It's a combined SBA loan with the SBA. It's like in the low sixes. The bank's coming out in about the high sevens. So you're getting a rate around 7% on that deal. Uh, but it stays fixed for 25 years. There is a 10-year prepayment penalty on this loan. So this loan is good if it's a long-term play. You want to keep the property for the long haul. That's really all that I have on the SBA 7A and the 504 loans. Again, I have about 40 lenders that I use or have access to. I probably only use a handful on a regular basis, maybe up to 10, but some deals require more resources. So I have those resources in case, I have a deal that I need to find at least one or two lenders interested. So, and that's all that I have.
That's
Amazing.
wonderful. Andrew, can I ask you very quick? Just to recap with the 7A, you said it was to purchase franchises, to purchase property, right? Real estate. And then one more thing. What was the third thing?
So yeah, the 7A, it's basically you can start a business,
Start a business. Okay.
buy a business,
Hmm.
grow your existing business, or franchise. And
Perfect.
you can get cash, equipment, inventory, pay off high interest rate business debt, get money to rehab the property that you're buying. You can even do a ground up construction from scratch. So that's the 7A in a nutshell. And the 504
All
is
right.
really the same thing. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. There's obviously some variances, but
Mhm.
it's the only difference is you're not getting the cash and you're not getting the inventory. So in that situation, what we do is we do a 504 loan for you because remember you have $5 million. So we would do a 5-year 504 in the bigger money if you're buying a big real estate, and then come back and do a 7A to get the working capital. So we can still get you the money. We would just structure it a different way.
So amazing. Shantae, can you
Thank
please
you.
put his contact information on the screen? And then a lot of people in the chat asking you to so drop it in the chat.
Yeah, I
Okay.
put it in there earlier.
Yeah, so
So
I'm
Okay,
I'm going to
perfect.
share it so people can see the information. But while I'm sharing, Andrew, I'm going to allow for a few minutes, just because you did share a whole lot and dropped a whole lot of
I
content
know I
and
did.
information on us. I'm going to allow for if anybody in the audience has a question for about 5 minutes. If you want to unmute yourselves, but just one at a time. If you have a question for Andrew, right, he's running right in front of us. Okay, I see Darlene Green. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. This is Darlene Green from Philadelphia, and of course, this question is for Andrew. Andrew, is there a minimum or maximum amount when you're trying to start a business, or a requirement amount when you are requesting monies? Is there a minimum or maximum amount that you are allowed to to get when you're trying to apply?
Yeah, so typically every situation is going to be different. Like, if somebody calls me and says, Andrew, I need 100,000, that's all I'm going to need to start my business, then we might not go SBA. There'd probably be a cheaper way to do it. But typically, if you're a brand new startup, a lot of the lenders like to play at $1 million or less, maybe 1.5 or less. It's harder to go get that 4 to 5 million dollars from the very beginning. It's not impossible, but it's case by case. So it really it's based off of your vision, your business, and how much money you're going to need to be successful. As long as we can show them that, hey, we need this. This is the reason why. Then that's what the money's there for us to get.
All right, thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Darlene. Did anybody else have a question?
Shantae, the people in the chat are saying the panelists can only, so can you check that, please? That the panelist is not able to share with everyone.
Okay. Are you talking about the chat itself?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Let's see. And I didn't see any
well,
other hands raised. Was everybody okay on questions for right now? All right. So we will continue. I'm going to share Andrew's information on the screen right now. So if anybody would need to reach Andrew directly, even if you're not a small business owner yet, but you are thinking about starting a business, or if you are currently in business and need some help with any other structuring for capital and funding and everything that he said today, if you need to meet with him one-on-one, this is the information to reach him at. He also did drop his information in the chat, so we will make sure everybody gets everybody contact information so that you can reach out to everybody that's speaking to directly to be able to help you. So even though we're facilitating and bringing this information to you, we want you to get all the help and information that you need. And with Andrew, with the information that I included in here, is there anything else people need to know on how to reach you? Any other websites?
No, everything here looks great, Chantel.
All right, no worries. Well, again, I appreciate Andrew. He's going to stand by because, like I said at the end, we are going to have an open question and answer forum for all the panelists so we can address everybody's needs or concerns, or maybe to bring more information in the forefront. I do see there's other businesses in the chat that some of this information that we're presenting may be able to help some of your clients, especially if you're in the financial industry.
Are you on?
All right, Miss Bellamy, did you have a question?
No, I don't.
Okay, can you please mute yourself? Thank you.
I will.
All right, I appreciate it. Yeah, so we will have, once each speaker is done, we will have an open forum to give a little bit of time if people just have questions. We know there's a lot going on out here in the world, so we want to make sure small business owners can navigate with the information we are providing today. There are some people that weren't able to make it today, but we will be having further trainings, classes, so we will want you to have access to all the resources you need. Okay? All right, so next, a couple of my panel speakers are here in the audience. I'm going to start with, I'm sorry, Wanda, can you hear me? Okay, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. Okay. So next, I'm going to introduce Eric McContney. He's going to speak for a few moments in regards to what business strategies and the things that he adds to his business. It's very niche. I think anybody that has started or owned a business or currently owns, it doesn't matter if you're a one-person business owner or a multi-million-dollar franchise, Eric has something for everybody. It's very unique, and I'm going to let him talk and explain to what he does to help small business owners. So Eric, you can go ahead and start and take it away.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you letting me speak this evening. So I'm Eric McConaty with Tactical Growth Strategies. Like I said, I do business coaching. So you can think of that as generally I work with people who started a business because they were good at providing a service or a product. And then once they got into the business, they realized that they have to do the business part of it. And they quickly find themselves overwhelmed. So I work with them one-on-one to work through those things. So you can think everyone has a business plan when they start out, and then as soon as they get into it, the business plan goes out the window because everything else feels so overwhelming. So initially, we start out and we go through creating an actual strategy for what they have and what they can do. A lot of people struggle with that, so we'll go through and set realistic goals, lines of effort, and then action items to go with those so they actually have a plan to move forward. From there, we jump into the marketing. Probably the most common thing I see with small businesses is that they don't know how to talk about their business. So most people will say that when they speak about their business, they just talk about the features. This is what I do, instead of speaking to the customer's pain points and the things that the customer actually speak or cares about. So I'll work through them to get their messaging on point. The other thing that I see people with marketing is that they don't know how to identify their ideal client. People like to say, I help anybody. And if you're helping anybody, you're probably helping nobody. So we narrow that down, especially in the beginning, so that you can be really successful in one small niche, and then you can expand from there. Because once you know who you want to serve, then you can figure out where they hang out, what you need to say to them, what their pain points are, and then how to actually sell to them. So once the marketing wheel is starting to spin, then we start working on sales. This is another thing that a lot of us that get into business, sales feels really uncomfortable, and people just kind of like to avoid that part. But we'll go through actually creating a sales process, so what the customer's journey looks like to from where they find you at to where they actually purchase something from you. And we make sure that that's repeatable. So as you grow, you can hire other people to start taking on those roles for you. So speaking of growing, as the business does grow, you'll inevitably have to hire people. Hiring is a giant issue for people. I often hear clients say that they don't think that there's good employees out there anymore. Over the years, I've come up with a structure to make sure that when you go through the hiring process, it's a system, and that you're evaluating the applicant on things that actually matter for the business. So we can put it in a hiring process to make sure that you get the high performing people that you're looking for. Once you do have a team, I offer organizational assessment. So we can go through and do an assessment of everybody in the organization. We can identify who the high performers are and what personality or what category they fall into. And then as we work on that hiring process, we can tailor that to make sure that we hire more people that are like the high performers on the team already. And then the last part is leadership. Once you've done all that, you're going to have a bigger company than when we started working together. So how do you now manage that whole thing, and how do you lead people and get them to continue to buy in every day? So at the end of all that, when we start working together, the business owner usually feels overwhelmed. And really, I'm there to be a listening ear, an accountability partner, and someone to get them to start working on the business rather than in it. Now, I have been in the Army for the last 17 years, so I do think of everything in some sort of framework or structure or process. And so for those that are not ready for one-on-one coaching yet, I have packaged a lot of what I do into a book. And so that is available out there, and it walks through all those processes step by step. So that's available for people that are maybe just starting out and not ready for a full-time one-on-one coach yet. But that's just kind of a rundown of how a business coach can really help you grow and expand with purpose rather than with chaos.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Did you have anything else you wanted to add on?
No, that's it. I'm short and sweet.
Well, please let people know. I'm going to put your information up on the screen so people can see it, so they know how to get to your website. His book is on the website. Please blow up this book. It's phenomenal. Business Boot Camp is the title of your book. So it's a book that I recommend to anybody that's thinking about starting a business, already has a business, wants to take it to the next level. You should just have this book as a promotional tool, and it's super affordable. So there's no excuse why not to have it. But I think that should be a starting point to how people can, start getting into what you do and understanding about what you do. So, of course, his name is Eric McCartney. The website you go to is very simple, tgscoaching.com. On that website, if I'm not mistaken, Eric, I've been through it a few times or two. It does have the book where they can go register and purchase the book online, correct?
Correct. And just to touch on the book, it just came out last month, and with zero ad spend, it's broken into the top 20 business books on Amazon.
It's amazing. I'm so happy for you, Eric, and we look forward to all working together. And I know there's a lot of people that's here right now, whether you're on the panel or starting a business or thinking about business, already have a business, where you may 100% you're going to need his services at some point. Because I'm going to tell somebody, as a small business owner, been through ups and downs as a business owner, you never get a book on how to do. You don't have all the things in line to tell you how to be responsible in this area, how to manage this area. No one person can be an expert of all things. So that's why you can leverage on other experts and people to help with the strategy part. So I'm happy to have you, Eric, and thank you so much. All right. So now before I let him go, I will still just allow his was short and sweet, but does anybody have questions for Eric at the moment?
I was going to say, Shante, there was a question, but I believe this was the previous speaker, because the
For
question
Andrew. Yeah.
is it possible to get a loan with a low credit score?
Andrew, I think this question is for you. It was a question we missed.
Yeah, typically it's hard to get a loan with a low credit score. There are loans for business owners out there that have low credit scores, but obviously it's the most expensive money that's out there. If you don't have a business and you have low credit scores, typically there could be some type of collateral that you had or that you have that you might be able to get money off of. Um, just keep in mind, it doesn't take as long as you might think to get your credit scores up. There's some tricks to all that. So I would be more than happy to give you some advice as far as, hey, this is the best way to get your credit scores up.
Yes, thank you for answering, Andrew. Absolutely. I will go to say we do have partners that specialize in credit repair, helping people with their credit. Everybody on this panel works with credit, whether we're dealing in real estate, whether we're dealing with business. So we will be able to, if you want to learn more about how you could be positioned to be able to be in a better position to have a lower cost to obtaining funding or credit, we would be able to assist you with that as well. So just make sure you drop your information in the chat if you do have questions about that. And we will have a specialist get out to you just to have a conversation to see if we could assist you with being in a better position to obtain any type of credit resources that you need. Okay. All right. So we do have Carmen Booker. She's not on the panel, but she is one of our legal strategic partners here with Master Wealth Builders. She is the one that you would talk to for mostly all purposes in regards to the foundational setup purposes, making sure your legal contracts are in order for the purposes of the setup, from anywhere from a nonprofit to a large scale corporation or a single family owner business. Carmen, you can unmute yourself and I would love to introduce you so I can see your beautiful face.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So everybody for doesn't know, this is Carmen Booker, and you can talk for yourself and introduce your business for yourself as well.
Okay, great. Well, I'm Carmen Booker. I'm an attorney and a business and nonprofit consultant, and I establish corporations and limited liability companies and nonprofit organizations. And we help nonprofits get their federal and state tax exemption status and get funding for their programs and services. I also write contracts of any kind. It could be business service contracts, joint venture agreements, real estate entertainment, all different kinds of contracts. And I do trademark searches and registrations to protect your business name and logo on a national level, and estate planning. So if anyone needs living trust, powers of attorney, advanced healthcare directives, I can definitely help you. So please reach out to me. You can give me a call at 240-273-2584. And you can also go to my LinkedIn profile to learn a lot more about me. And I'm also an 18-time author. I've written books regarding entrepreneurship, nonprofits, and ministry. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Karen. Carmen, you have so much to offer. I know you only gave them a couple, but you have written a lot of books. The estate planning book I'm currently using and helping some of my clients with. So she is a great resource. She has decades experience as a legal professional and as an attorney. She is definitely out here to serve and help others and help our communities. So, when you reach out to us, you get Carmen as well. But the goal is that any one of us, whether you're participating on a panel or on the call, can all work together and band together to provide the expertise and knowledge to help others as well. So thank you so much, Carmen. We look forward to going forward in the future. Like I said, here at Master Wealth Builders, we're here to bring information to you, and we will be having classes going forward just specifically in what she's talking about. So the part of me referencing her is that you need somebody to help you legally with the business. Get your documentation in order, just to restructure if you already have a business, to make sure you're structured properly so you can grow and expand. So she is the person that helps with that. You have Andrew that's going to help with the funding. And we have many other people like the strategic information that Eric provided. So all these resources will incrementally help you with each part of the business. But at the minimum, even if you have somebody to work with, at least you have us as resource partners to reach out with to expand to your ever growing, community. I see Renee Bellamy has a raised hand. You can unmute yourself to ask a question.
I just wanted, I was requesting for Carmen to restate her number. She said it so fast. Thank you.
Okay, yes, sorry about that. My telephone number is 240-273-2584.
Can you also put your information in the chat so that people at the end of this can just save the chat and we have it?
Oh yes, I did put my information in the chat. I can do it again.
Okay,
No,
so
no,
everybody look
if
for
it's
her
already there.
information in the chat if it's already there.
Yeah, if it's
Just
already there, you're good.
And in regards to structuring and all the things that she just mentioned, does anybody have any quick questions for Carmen in regards to this matter, in regards to business setup and the things that she's offering? All right, so we'll continue to move along. And for those that have just joined, we are going to have a question and answer segment at the end. So you'll be able to ask questions to any one of these people that are here right now. I have one more person that I want to introduce to you so that you have somebody else. She's also going to be a person you can ask questions to. And she kind of completes the puzzle for all of us, for all the services that we're able to educate about. We're going to have ongoing classes, webinars, break down subject matters. But we just want to introduce everybody to you today. We want to be able just to once a month give the nuggets and knowledge of everything that's happening right now. Things are constantly changing. We just had a legislation passed. So as a tax professional like myself, I like to make sure that people are up to date to know how to navigate it, the positives, the negatives. So we're doing everything here today, whether it's new in SBA, whether it's new in real estate, whatever it is, we want to make sure you have the knowledge today. So the next person I want to introduce, Wanda Grayson. I would like for you to unmute yourself. She's also our strategic partner, and she has a unique consulting into regards to what she does and how she helps our small business owners. Wanda, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Wanda Grayson. I am the owner of the Grayson Consulting Group. So I am a business analyst and financial manager, but I also work in the space of financial wellness, which is understanding how to secure yourself and your assets beyond the bank account. Financial wellness is about more than money. It's about bringing you peace of mind and bringing your loved ones peace of mind. It's not about end of life resources. It's about being in a peaceful space while you are alive. And then when you do transition or however transition occurs, not only were you peaceful in life, but your relatives or whomever you leave to mourn you, they're also peaceful in your transition. A lot of people don't realize some of the implications that go with transferring assets without knowledge. There's a lot of implications that lead to a loss of assets due to just relatives not understanding the rules. So I help you to navigate the space where essential documentation is critical to your existence, whether you're here on this side or if you've transitioned onto the other side. The other thing that I do in the financial management space is that I help small business owners understand the contracts that they've entered into. I do financial impact reviews, and that's not to say that you should not have a lawyer review the contracts. You definitely should, but you also want to make sure somebody with a financial or business background also reviews any contracts that you enter to protect yourself, because you have to remember that whoever proposes the contract is written in their favor, and loss of revenue or quantifiable information does not always come in the form of numbers. Sometimes it comes in the form of words. You just have to be able to dissect the words to understand what the value of that statement is. For instance, I had a client agreed to in a contract where she lost her intellectual properties, not even realizing it. And sadly, an attorney did review that contract, but it wasn't discovered until I reviewed it. And so just recognize that you need multiple people to do potentially what appears to be the same thing, but it's not usually the same thing because I can assure you an attorney is looking for one set of information when they look for a contract. I'm looking for something totally different. I also help to build financial projections. So when you're building your financial plans to make sure that you're not always using numbers because some financial projections should be based on logic and not numeric. And it's important to know the difference because you don't want to be out here chasing a dream or chasing a number that may be impossible to reach because it could lead to a lot of disappointment that may just be unnecessary. So that is my contact information in the slide, but my phone number, which I'll also drop in the chat, is 540-873-9166. And if you have any questions, just let me know.
All right. Thank you so much, Wanda. I appreciate you. Um, I see a couple people are having issues. I just want to make sure everybody can talk in the chat. Is anybody else having issues with putting their information in the chat?
It was the panelists that can't do it. It's not the people. The people are talking just fine. There's a question that I
I
wanted
just
to.
fixed it. Okay, it should work now. All right. All right, so thank you so much, Wanda. Make sure you drop your information in the chat, even though I will show it again just to make sure everybody has your information. So anybody's interested in what Wanda is explaining to you, everybody I believe needs the services. We all enter into contract and agreement when we start a business. She did give me a good example the other day in regards to, franchise contracting. I have been part of a franchise before. So anything when you're going to contract, I do always advise any client that I talk to, it is important that you have it reviewed by an attorney if you can, but have somebody that has knowledge and information in the contract that you're entering to review it apart from the legal jargon, just to make sure that everything makes sense from the financials. Wanda didn't really go into the financial part of what she does, but she's very good at financial and project management and going into making sure things are a good deal. So she'll be able to tell you more about that. Thank you so much, Wanda.
Wait a minute. We do have a question in the chat, and I believe it is addressed to Wanda. It says, "Would it be wise or beneficial to open a trust in place of my in play place of my business under it? I'd love to understand the pros and cons and any implications from a financial and tax standpoint."
So there are different positions on when you need a trust and what should be in it. And so it depends on what's happening with your business, quite honestly. But I would need to know more about your circumstances. And so if you want to give me a call tomorrow or shoot me an email, we can definitely get you an answer and get you moving forward so that you do understand the pros and cons. Um, of using that as a vehicle to protect yourself.
All right. Thank you so much, Wanda. All right. So, next, we're going to have Melissa Alvarado. So each segment in which we're trying to make sure we drop enough knowledge and content and information and some of the things that we feel like is the most important thing for a business owner to, have when they're starting a business, running a business, and business for themselves, looking to expand. Um, and also, I want to let you know, Dr. Tanya Gibson couldn't make it today, but I am going to put her information at the end so you're able to get her knowledge and be able to reach out to her. And she will be coming to us on our next, and she's going to share the information more in regards to the grant writing for both profit and nonprofit companies. So, Melissa, I'm going to introduce you, and I know you said you have a slideshow, but in case you don't are familiar with us, we are Master Wealth Builders LLC. We partner and bring information to you from key experts all over the country that can help in your journey and your growth in many different areas of real estate, finance, health and wellness, and that long-term planning I think somebody was asking in regards to. So we do have a few resources, including Carmen Burkler, that does help and set up trust as well. So we will all be able to relatively give information and help you with each piece of your puzzle. All right, does anybody else have a question before we move forward? All right. All right, so we're going to introduce Melissa Alvarado from Buckingham Mortgage LLC. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So, Melissa, you can take off from here and share with what you come to present to us today.
Awesome. Perfect. And Shantae, if you can confirm that can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. And continuing with the main topic that we have here today, everything small business. We want to make sure that we bring to you guys opportunities and information that is also going to help you as a self-employed, as an individual, right? There are some solutions to purchase homes, and this is what we want to make sure that we are all aware of. Okay, so we're going to be going over bank statements and P&L mortgage programs, just an overview and highlights of these programs. And if anybody is interested in purchasing a home, whether it's a primary, secondary, or investment, you can definitely reach out to us, and we can help you guide you through this process. All right, let me see if I can change. All right. So bank statements and P&L programs, they are basically tailored for self-employed borrowers, which majority of us here today fall under this category, self-employed. And some of the programs and highlights of these programs are that we do not rely to structure the loan on your tax returns. We will, yes, take a look at 12 months bank statements or maybe a P&L, depending on which one is going to be stronger for the purchase that you are going to make. And we want to make sure that we have these programs available to you, because I know there's a lot of clients that we see on a daily basis that they do have incredible cash flow. They do have incredible gross receipts. However, after the expenses and everything that entails having and owning a business, the net profits are not enough to purchase a property that they would like. So this is where these programs come into play and help our clients, because now we're only showing the cash flow, right? We are not going to be hit by the expenses, all the expenses of the tax returns. We're going to be driven only by those deposits or the CPA prepared or tax preparer accountant P&L. Okay, these programs allow you to go all the way up to 3.5 million, and a credit score as low as 620. So depending on your credit score, this is also where your amount, the maximum loan amount that we can take, and the loan to value, meaning if you want to do a 20%, a 15%, a 10%, it's all going to be driven by your credit score, right? And also your income, which is going to be determined with the bank statements or the P&L. Some of the properties, like I mentioned before, that fall under this or would be eligible for this programs is going to be primary residence, second homes, investment properties as well. And some of these programs as well, they go all the way up to 85 LTV, and we have other banks that go all the way up to 90 LTV, which means that you would only do 10% under a bank statement loan, or you can do 15% or 20% under a P&L loan. So it all depends, like I mentioned, it's going to be based on your credit score and which program we're going to be utilizing, whether it's bank statement or P&L. We also have the options of interest only, and this would be discussed as needed. And we also have the normal amortizing of 30 years and 15 years and 20 years on these programs. In these flexible programs also help those that are gig workers, entrepreneurs, 1099, all those wage earners that we have that fall under these categories. we can utilize whether a bank statement program or a P&L. Right. And like I initially said, these programs are tailored for people like us that definitely we want to make sure that we enter everything in our tax returns. However, our tax expenses do not make enough for us on the net profit for to be able to purchase a home, whether it's 300,000 or 500,000, and then we would only look into your cash flow. Right. So why self-employed clients love this, and this is one of the things that I was mentioning, there's not going to be anything that's going to be ran through your tax returns. No, we're not going to have to explain any write-offs or any complications of those. You're qualified based on your actual business cash flow, like I mentioned before, and it helps you qualify for a larger home purchase because at the end of the day, sometimes we are expensing and some things that are, like depreciation, perfect. That's part of our expenses. But in reality, it's not something that is taking some money of your cash flow. So it it's not realistic. So these are the things that these programs are going to capture and they are going to help us when we make a purchase. And definitely is going to help you qualify for a larger home purchase. It's perfect for seasonal income or variable revenue streams because if you are doing seasonal work and you work I have a lot of clients that work in construction. They work mainly like 8, 9 months of the year, and then other months of the year they're cold. They don't have a lot of work. We can definitely utilize these programs because we can definitely show that seasonal process instead of going through a full documentation of route where we have to show that that person was consistently working for 12 months. So it gives a lot of flexibility for our borrowers, and it's definitely a great option to get you in a home and the home of your dreams, right? And that's what we really want to work on. And then you can also retain liquid assets for business growth. So when you are going through a full doc process, which would be utilizing and showing your tax returns in comparison to only showing your 12 months bank statements or your P&L, um, you definitely want to make sure that you maximize on your taxes. You definitely want to make sure that you're not ending up with a debt with the IRS of $100,000 because of, what your income was for that year and not being able to expense what you are supposed to expense because you want to buy a home. So this is the option that we have. You do what you have to do with your tax returns. You make sure that you expense what's right for your business and what's right for your operations. And then we can make sure that we can take care of you on the other end by providing you the assistance with this program. So bank statements, you could do 12-month bank statements. We can utilize business bank statements, but if you don't have a business account, we can also use a personal bank statement. Okay, so we can use 12 months of that or 24 months, depending on how the business is. If we need to show more income for a longer and consistent period. And we can determine that once we sit together and have a consultation of what you're trying to do. And like I said, we also do the P&L. It's going to be based on a P&L that is going to be prepared either by a certified tax preparer or a CPA. So one of those two. And then, yeah, we can definitely help you get into a home 30, 45 days as long as we get all this documentation ready. Here's my contact information if you want to learn a little bit more, and I can definitely help you get you in the home as soon as possible. All right, so that's all for me. If you have any questions, please, you can write them in the chat or unmute yourself.
Melissa, this is Andrew. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
For your bank statement or P&L mortgage programs, what percentage of the deposits do you use for those programs?
We use everything. We use
You're using
100% of the
100% of
deposits,
every deposit?
except if it's coming from one of your other accounts, then we have to show that that deposit that's coming from your other account. Like if you have a checking and we're using the checking, but we see a deposit that is coming from your savings, and we want to make sure that is also business. So you might be required to show that there was a check. This is a check that was paid, and I deposited in the wrong account, and I'm transferring to my checking account. So deposits like that is from your significant other or that are not really not business related, we'll remove those. Other than that, we use everything.
So it's not a percentage. So if I have 24 months of business bank statements and I'm showing uh $10,000 a month in my bank statements being deposited, you're using $120,000 a year. If they're all business related, you're not taking a percentage of that 120,000 for
In
qualification.
terms of the math that we use for the business and the deposits, we do not deduct anything that is not, unless it's not business related. However, there is an expense factor that is applied afterward, and it's probably this is what you're trying to refer to, an expense factor that is applied to the business. If you're a consultant, that expense factor could be 10% or it could be 5% if your CPA says so. If your CPA says no, he works from home, he doesn't go anywhere. He's an IT consultant. He only uses his computer. His expense factor is 5%. Then we would go about with that expense factor. But in terms of your deposits, we'll use all your deposits except the ones that are coming from, non-business related.
Okay, so use all the deposits and
Mhm.
depending on the industry and what then you'll determine an expense factor based that will come off of that money that you can use based off my industry, et cetera.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes. If you are, I had a client the other day that they had a tire shop, right? So the by default, the expense factor was 50%. So out of the $100,000 a month, the expense factor was 50%. So that would give them $50,000 a month in income. But if we would have needed more, then we would go to the CPA and he would go in and calculate that expense factor correctly and say, hey, no, his expense factor is 40%. And so that means that we can use 60% of his income. So that would have been 60,000.
Okay.
So, but that is in the case that we need more money. If not, there are certain expense factors that are provided by default based on the industry, based if it's service or if it's a sales, something that is related to sales, and if you require inventory or whatnot, then we can figure that out at the time of the application.
And then what are the debt to income ratios required for that program?
So mainly it's going to be based on the LTV. If we go all the way up to 90, debt to income ratio is going to be 45. If we go 90% LTV, if we go 85% LTV or higher, then or lower, I'm sorry, then the debt to income ratio is 50 or 55. It depends on the FICO.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I had. Thank you.
Yeah, but great questions. Great questions. So basically what Andrew is asking is, um, number one, if you are utilizing all the deposits, the answer is yes. We utilize all deposits that are business related. If it's not business related, we will deduct that from that specific bank statement. And the second question or the follow up to that was that there is an expense factor because all business are going to have expenses. Some are going to be higher, others are going to be lower. There are some that are by default set by the bank that we're going to be working with. However, we can always go back and request a letter from the CPA stating that you have a lower expense factor, and we can work with that in the bank with that specific certification. All right. Any other
So
question?
I have one more. So you said that loan's up to
Sure.
3.5 million. So if I wanted to buy
Yes,
a
sir.
$3.5 million loan off of this program, would it still be at 10% or higher loan amount means more money down?
That is correct. Higher loan amount means more money down.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. Thank you.
Are there any more questions? All
I
right, so now we're
think.
just going to open up a little bit. Melissa, I believe you had your information on the screen. Thank you, Melissa, for presenting.
Mhm.
This is very important for all you guys that are self-employed. I'm sure you know it as a tax accountant for multiple decades. People write off a lot of their expenses, show more losses than profits. So in
Mhm.
past years, it's very hard to get approved the traditional or conventional way. So this is just another tool. But at Buckingham, there's so many different options. We're connected with so many lenders where we have the option to find, it's not one size fits all, but we can find the option that fits best for you. So thank you so much, Melissa. I put her information in the chat.
Thank you.
Please reach out to her if you have any questions. She is phenomenal. She is awesome. She knows her stuff. So if you have any questions in this area or know somebody that can benefit from it, it may not be for you, but we all know each other in the small business community. We want to share the information so the information gets out. We are recording this call, so we will make sure we do share it with everybody that joined today, so that you can rewatch it. If you want to get information from the chat, I'll make sure I send that out to you. But I'm going to continue on so to make sure that we get to everybody and we're able to address everybody's concerns while we're here. But this is not just a one-time thing. We're going to be having, I know at Buckingham, Melissa they just had another event last week where they did talk about specific subject matter that might be an interest or help to somebody that needs help in that area. So we're going to have meetings about all types of things, everything that we talked about today. Okay. All right. Well, thank you again, Melissa. And again, does anybody have any questions so far? And if not, we're going to continue to move right along. Last and not least, I have Jennifer Johnson on the call. She's another lovely woman on our team. She also actually is a broker, a real estate broker. She's been doing it for multiple years. You have probably a combined over 50 years experience with everybody, maybe 60 years experience with all these related topics. With all of us, we have all had expertise for at least 20 years, each one of us. So we're making sure we're sending the information, we're getting knowledge directly from the source to make sure that, you have information that'll help and impact your lives. So Jennifer, I'm going to have you talk in regards to your business. We're not going to talk about too much down payment assistance today. That was last month's program, but Melissa, sorry, Jennifer, you can go ahead and speak and talk about how people can be helped in the commercial real estate or when purchasing, or maybe the pros and cons of purchasing and versus renting commercial real estate. Jennifer, are you unmuted?
I'm sorry. My name is Jennifer Johnson. I'm a licensed real estate broker. I'm an owner of Metro Realty 360. I've been practicing real estate since 2004, and I'm also a loan officer as well. I just wanted to go over some things with regards to commercial real estate. First, general renting. Keep in mind, if you have a business and you're thinking about getting a lease, there's different types of leases that you have. You have triple net, which is the NNN. You're paying for taxes, insurance, and maintenance. And then you also have what's called full service, where you might have set expenses. So as you're thinking about possibly doing renting, getting a space to rent, just keep in mind that if you see a lease that's 2,100, it might be more than that. Sometimes some landlords require you to pay a percentage of your sales profits to the landlord. On average, commercial leases are anywhere between 3 to 5 years. Right now in this economy, because everyone's not sure what's going on, you may be able to get a space for 2 years, but just be prepared that the commitment is going to be on average, I would say 2 to 5 years. And on average, the other thing that factor in to your expenses is with most leases, you're going to have the rent go up on average about 3% a year. So at 2,100, the next year it's going to go up 3%. After that, it's going to go up 3% again. Please, please, please make sure to either use a real estate broker or an agent, and make sure to ask them if they do commercial. So I am a residential broker. However, I am familiar with commercial real estate and I'm comfortable with it. That is something that's very important. Just like everybody on this panel, you have someone that says they do taxes, but then they're not really a bookkeeper. So just make sure to ask. We can certainly give you a referral if you need someone in another state, if you're not local to DC, Virginia, or Maryland. And then also to having an attorney. An attorney is going to negotiate the lease as far as making sure what terms are in there and things like that. The other reason that you really want to have a professional working with you, number one, the commercial guys aren't going to call you back. That's number one. And I have a client that kept calling, and no one will call him back. But also, two, they're going to make sure that you're going to get your certificate of occupancy. So no matter what business you're in, the county is going to require that certificate of occupancy. So you can't just open up and be like, I'm ready to go for business. Say, for example, if you have a business that caters to food, such as a restaurant or something like that, you're going to probably have to have inspections, such as a health and the health department and things like that. So just make sure that you use a professional. Now, I want to give you some examples to get you all thinking about, ways to make real estate work for you. You may only rent, and that's okay, right? I have a client in Richmond, Virginia. He found a hub zone, and I don't know if any of you all are familiar with hub zone, but hub zone is where you have to hire a certain percentage of the people that live in the area where the company is located. And what he did is he actually decided to do a hub zone incubator. So he kind of did like the UPS where he said, you know what, I'll charge a fee, a monthly fee or a management fee. And then he would allow other companies to use that address as a hub zone. So now instead of him paying, for example, $2,000, maybe he's only paying $150 because he's decided to charge other companies to come in and use his business address. I have another client who has a logistics company where he picks up freight, delivers freight, stores freight. And we're looking for a space for him right now to rent. And he said, hey, by the way, I may be able to get a larger space because I have a client that wants to sublease some of the space from me. So as you're thinking about renting and even buying, just think about ways that you could potentially produce income based on what your business model is. Now, keep in mind, just like most leases on the residential side, you probably have to get permission from the landlord, but that's not necessarily a bad thing as far as doing that. And then on the purchasing side, I have a client who found a contract with the Veterans Administration. They needed approximately 6,000 square feet. So he looked into buying a building. It was actually much larger. It was probably 20,000 square feet. But what he decided was, you know what, if I'm able to purchase the building, I'll take the 6,000, assuming I can get the contract from the Veterans Administration. And then he could have other like companies also lease space because he had approximately another 14,000 square feet. So that's another example of how you can make real estate work for you and to you. Now, keep in mind when you're purchasing, going back to Andrew and Melissa and Shantae and Carmen, and also, who was the other lady? I'm sorry, was it Sonia? No, not Sonia. Wanda. Um, you know, we work together as teams to help you all come up with your goals. So, if you're going to look into purchasing or even renting, talk with many professionals so you can come up with a solution that will allow for you to make your business profitable. And it also takes some pressure off of you. So you're not just worrying about, oh my gosh, I have the rent every month at $2,000. Maybe you decide, for example, if you have products, you have other products of other vendors in there. If you have a food business, maybe you have a juicing. For example, if you had a restaurant and you decided to sell organic juices on the side. So just think of ways to be, if you're already an entrepreneur, then it's not a far stretch to think about how can I synergize with other companies? Because when you're helping another company, they're actually helping you. Okay. And the last thing is protect your name. Especially when you're buying real estate. So, talk with a professional to make sure, do I need to buy the company in my name? Do I need to buy it in my company's name? Do I need to buy it in a trust? Because that is going to also adversely affect you, for example, with insurance purposes and things like that. So there's no right or wrong answer. The real estate industry has changed drastically. It used to be that you had to get that 10-year lease and that was it, or buying a commercial building. But the reality is now you have these WeWorks and you have, lease space where you can sublease an office within space. So just look at other competitors, what they're doing, what they're considering. Also keep in mind that while you might get excited, and this is the last note, while you might get excited, about a location, keep in mind, and if you think about nail salons, you ever notice that there's only usually one, maybe two within each shopping center. So, keep in mind that you may not be able to go in where you think you are. And also, what is your business zone for? You may be wanting to do a nail salon in an office space and they may not allow for that zoning. So that's why you want to have professionals like myself on your team to make sure, like, if you need zoning, and then also too, if there's any build out. Typically if you're going to rent, the landlord will allow a certain amount of money for you to build out the space. So while you're getting some of that money, two things should come to mind. Hey, how can I make a good renovation without it being a ton of money? But also, how do I go ahead and maybe the landlord might say, hey, we'll give you, over the duration of the lease, $10,000. And if you're able to get up and running in 2 months versus 3 months, then now you're able to take that money and save money as well. So just keep all this in mind. And there's no right or wrong way to incorporate real estate into your business, whether you're subleasing, you're renting, whether you're subleasing after you've rented or you're purchasing. And as you saw, Andrew said that there's money out there. So if you come up with, hey, I need a showroom or, a restaurant or something like that, and there's all sorts of resources out there to help people, find business, furniture, kitchen equipment, whatever kind of business that you're in. There's a lot of resources out there. You can go to sites such as GSA, and I'm sorry, I'm at Invisalign, and you can go to sites such as GSA .gov. That's goodsamapple.gov. You can go on there and buy, for example, a filing cabinet for as little, and we're talking about legal file cabinets that are 6 feet tall for as little as $20. Then you have to go and pick it up. But just keep in mind. And then also too, a lot of local counties, for example, I'm in Virginia, so Loudoun County and Fairfax County, and actually it's publicsurplus.com is the website, publicsurplus.com. You can go on there. Those counties, they will get rid of books, they will get rid of computers, they will get rid of copiers. A lot of times the lease is up and it's more expensive for the county to try and maintain it. So they end up selling it. Some of this stuff is surplus goods that, it's out of contract, like I said. So just keep in mind, there's a lot of resources out there. Again, gsa.gov, and then also publicsurplus.com. So those are two. And another one is liquidation.com. So there's a lot of resources out there. If you're thinking about opening an office, don't be deterred by, oh my gosh, I don't have chairs. I mean, you'd be very surprised what you can find on there. And sometimes also just going on Craigslist and seeing, or auction sites, because people are liquidating offices all the time. So thank you so much for your time.
You so much. All right. Thank you so much, Jennifer. So does anybody have any questions for Jennifer in relation to what she talked about? Is very important, especially for small business owners that either rent, lease space, share space. You can raise your hand. I see Tanya Austin. You can go ahead and mute.
Thank you so much for that information, Jennifer. It was very helpful. I was just curious to know if you had some sort of mentorship or one-on-one consulting that you do with new and upcoming businesses that you can provide.
We can talk offline. I don't know what type of mentorship you would need, but we can certainly, talk offline. And, I would say this for all the professionals on the panel, reach out to us and let us know what you need. Sometimes you may not need as much help as you think, or our services are part of what we do to assist our clients. Does that make sense? So you might say, well, I'm not sure where to go, what to do. I mean, that's essentially what would happen if you hire me to say, hey, Jennifer, I need to find a commercial space. So definitely reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you and see how I can help you. And I would tell everyone on the call to make sure to reach out to the panelists, because This is what we do for a living. We typically will start with consulting, and maybe you're not where you need to be, or maybe you are where you need to be, and then you need another team member. And then that is where our job comes in to say, hey, you know what? I need help, Shantae, or I need help, Andrew. And then we add those people in. So don't be afraid to ask. And we were all there at one time. So please reach out to us. Some people do have consulting fees, or some sort of small fee just to get started, because that is part of their process. And I will say that sometimes is a weed out process, so don't be deterred by that. And then if there is a fee, oftentimes it's credited to what your future services might be. So reach out to any of us, and we're happy to help and see how we can help you. And if we don't have the answer, we will find the answer for you and the right people to team you up with.
Thank you so much again. I don't see. I'm looking through all the information. I don't see your information in the chat for your phone number.
Okay.
It's my cell phone number is 202-805-1082. Again, that's 202-805-1082. And I think, Shantae, you have my information up, don't
Yes,
you?
I'm actually getting ready to share it. I just wanted to make sure all their questions were answered. So yes, if you would like to reach out to Jennifer, I just want to make sure everybody can see.
Yeah, that's my loan stuff, but that'll still get
No,
to
I
me, so
have it.
that's fine.
I got it.
No,
Gotcha.
no, no, that's fine. You can post that. That's fine. That's not a problem.
I got you. Sorry, trying to get it to work from there we go. All right, now can everybody see it? This is Jennifer's information. This is how she can be reached if anybody does have a specific question pertaining to what she discussed. And then, like I said, again, we're all working as a team. So even though if you need helps in multiple areas, we can work together on the financial side, the real estate side. What Jennifer said was absolutely correct. Just to piggyback off your question, we are providing here at Master Web Builders classes. We are an educational firm first. So if you're looking for, like, say, hey, I would like to have a group of people attend a meeting where we just really break this part down, we could come together and provide that for you. That's not a problem. But if you need one-on-one consulting to see how we can help you individually, or if you know of others that need help, then we can still open up the conversation, set a schedule on a calendar, depending on the services you need. Some services may have charges. Some may just be just directing to the right person or professional. So, yeah, absolutely. We are here to provide you details on whatever we need. This meeting is just to get the information out there, get it out to people quickly, drop information as we're getting it. Things are evolving. So did everybody get Jennifer's information? And does anybody have any further questions to Jennifer on this particular webinar? And if not, I'm just going to keep moving. So we still will have, for those of you that can't stay after a little longer, we'll still do some questions. And then we'll make sure that if any of you guys in the chat actually have a business, I see a lot of companies in there, that if you want to share your services with us, so maybe we can align later. I did send a link for a strategic alignment meeting, so we can talk one-on-one to see how we can all work together as well. So last but not least, the company that is bringing this to you is Master Web Builders LLC. Takuma, TK Pryor, and myself are the owners, but as you see, we have a team within our business. We have strategic partners that are here on the call. I believe Jennifer referenced and Melissa referenced earlier, we know the experts. So even if they're not on the card, we have people for credit. We have people for other services that may be beneficial to you. Last month, we did a whole webinar on real estate vehicles that could be used for professionals, help you in your daily life, investment vehicles that just came out. So we do have those YouTubes where you can go back and watch them. So we just want to make sure we're constantly getting information, but we are on to all types of in-person web events. We're licensed in multiple states. Me and TK and our company have a team that is licensed in 50 states. So we have professionals all over the country and everywhere that can help you out. So for us, we are a combination of multiple companies for our businesses together. Our focus for me and TK is actually real estate investors. We focus on that. So we do have two real estate companies where we're helping real estate investors on the investment leveraging side. So we do have a unique tool that's used both for business and for real estate investment as well. The goal for us is that we want to make sure we're helping everybody on a holistic part of life, meaning we're helping you with you're achieving your goals. Your business is your baby. So we want to make sure that we're able to provide you resources. We are a resource center. We understand people may have their own CPAs. You may have your own realtors that you already associate with, and that's fine and that's okay. But we're here to bring you whatever else and other resources you don't have. And if you are a person that participates in these same type of things that we're doing, we will want you on board because we all have our niches and we focus on different things and can bring things to the table. So these are the questions we're asking. We're not here for a product. We're not here for a service. What we teach at Master Wealth Builders is we teach people the financial end, the money part. So we talk to two people that'll help you manage it, but we help you put those things together. So when I first started in business and financial business 24 years ago, I worked for the national division of PNC Bank in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which was our headquarters at the time. And what I was doing at that time was learning how to teach people to leverage their assets traditionally through a 401k, through an IRA. So for small business owners, we understand it's hard to save when you're putting everything into your business. So we are the people that you partner with so we can help you, whether you have 50 and 100 employees or even thousands, or you're the only business owner or you're a one person show, how to still be able to self-direct your healthcare. We're partnered with US Health Advisors. It's a subsidiary company of United Healthcare. We ourselves are actually licensed to help people with their long-term self-directed planning. So if somebody doesn't want to do a 401k, we can help people with self-directed retirement options. But we do have the 401k programs ready and to go for larger scale businesses that can afford to pay in and to contribute for benefits for their employees. But for the 10 employee or less or single business owner, we're here to show you how you can maybe say you just started a business, you left your job. You may have a 401k. You may have money in stocks. May have money in other diversified places. So what we want to do is review your diversification of what that you already have and teach you how to redirect strategy and leverage what you have to obtain funding. We are into advanced velocity of banking, meaning you can collateralize fixed assets. We can use something maybe you already have to be able to live off of interest so you can redirect towards your business expenses or to redirect into another investment that can help you grow. We also offer courses and educational workshops through our alliance with the Real Secrets of Money. I have been aligned with this company. It's called First Financial Security Incorporated for over 14 years. I have been in this industry for over 20 years. So the goal is that I wanted to make sure I had a curriculum in everything, whether it was teaching tax updates every year to people when legislation passes, like the big beautiful bill. We had a big legislation update for business owners and small businesses called the Secure 2.0 Act. And that affected anybody that were providing retirement services or employees that were receiving retirement packages from the employers. And that particular legislation is still being implemented year by year up until 2030. So that's what we're doing in our advanced classes. But for people that need maybe more streamlined classes for churches, community centers, these are the type of classes we're teaching, and everything is not here. So our estate planning might be through Carmen Booker, but we want to make sure whatever your question is, even in business, we offer a lot of classes like that. The goal is to be able to run your business living passively. I was in a real estate meeting a couple of weeks ago where we were talking about your business should not be running you. Your business should be working for you. So eventually, if your business is structured properly, you're using everything that we're talking about today, from the business plans to the management part of it, that you should be able to have your business running itself, still have financial stability, still be able to make the decisions you want to make, still doing the other things that you would like to do. So we're more holistic. We just don't want you working day in and day out. I've done that for a long time, but we want to make sure everybody has the option to have the business they want, a sustainable business, make sure it's able to be passed on to others. That's one of the biggest things we do here at Master Wealth Builders. We do talk about and we help business owners with business succession planning, which is something that business owners don't think about. So the main thing, I'm not going to take long, but the only thing I want to bring to the attention of business owners today, because this is a temporary program, I will invite you out to a more detailed, in about a couple weeks. I'm going to give training on business owners when they're setting up their retirement or choosing the retirement packages. But right now, there is a new vehicle that just hit June the 4th, and it's only temporary, but it's still a vehicle that has been around for over a decade and will continue to be around. But they're currently offering temporarily up to 23% bonus on all rollovers from a 401k, sell down from a stock, redirected money from another source, or if you don't have any savings, that's fine. If you're starting from scratch, we will help you self-direct and contribute to your own self-directed retirement plan. And the biggest factors in this retirement plan is that you don't take losses like your 401k. It's not up and down the market like your TSP. We've helped a lot of federal workers in the last 3 to 4 months transition from using some of their TSP to be able to work for them in their business. So it's not a one size fits all, but we want to make sure we can make people aware of these things. They don't know they have these options. I ran into somebody yesterday that just lost their job. They're starting a new job, but they wanted to know how to roll over their money, but they may want to start a business and actually happen to leverage their 401k or their fixed annuity or their fixed IRA. So we'll talk about this later, but I just want to make sure that everybody had this information. And Master Wealth Builders, we're a one-stop shop. We're not just about one thing or the other, but we're into diversity, making sure you have a well-balanced portfolio. As a business owner, as a family, we still care about the person behind the business. So we do make sure your family has everything they need with the team. So with the team that we have here at Master Wealth Builders, along with the team that's represented on this panel, we want to make sure you're secure, your business goes on whether you're here or not, and we want to make sure while you're running the business that you don't run into any financial loopholes that can keep you from being able to sustain in any economy, no matter what legislation is passed. So that's the things that we do. And I'm really going to keep it short and simple, but with this particular vehicle, that's the one that we're featuring today. The minimum amount to participate is $5,000, and the max is based on your age is at 1.5 if you're below the age of 70. So we just letting you know it doesn't matter what stage of life you're starting in, whether you're coming out of college or already retired, we're still able to help you manage and leverage the income you have to reach your goals. So some of the vehicles that you can move over are represented in the left column. It doesn't matter what 401k, 457. If you're a veteran, you're active duty military, you can use any of these vehicles and roll it over into the fixed IRA annuity. If you have an IRA and it's a Roth IRA, it stays a Roth IRA within the vehicle and this gets transferred with the protection that the annuity provides. So it doesn't matter what it is, we're able to redirect it or start it with funds that are just sitting in the bank. And take it from somebody that left banking. When I left banking, it was at 0.05%. If you were lucky to get a 2% or 3% on the CD, people weren't really earning money. So that's the other thing we talk about in the velocity of money, how you can leverage interest to make more interest to make more money for you, leveraging your business, leveraging your real estate. So we just want to make sure we're bringing these advanced strategies that a lot of people aren't talking about and thinking about and coming out of the non-traditional and non-conforming things that we were taught to do that really doesn't benefit us in the long run. So some of the benefits of leveraging is if you're a business owner, you can take up 12% of the amount, even though they're giving you 23% on year one. So what that looks like is if you had, say, for example, $100,000, you're earning 23% interest on day one, plus whatever's earning in the market. So you can use 12% of that particular value of your investment from year to year without any penalty. Like when you take out money out your 401k, if you're under the age of 59 and a half, you get the tax penalty, which that did just change in legislation. So we will make sure we let people know what the new penalties are. And then even if it's not a tax penalty, usually the 401k is charging you a loan or an interest to pay it back. So we're giving you an opportunity to participate in investing your own money and using the interest from your investment to be able to fund your business, whether it's through leveraging with one of the business loans or the real estate loans we talked about today, or just being able to do incremental withdrawals from year to year into the investment, which you can't do with a traditional CD because you have to wait to invest before you can't surrender without any charge or penalty. So these are the things that we're teaching. I just want to make sure you have it. We're also letting people know, because we are experiencing financial instability, that these are the things that the United States has experienced over the years, through all the political challenges and economical challenges. So we're helping people see that each one of these stages in life and each one of these volatility situations, people have been able to manage through. So we want to make sure, just like what happened in the Great Depression, whether it was a world war, whether it's just a recession, whether it's a depression, that there is a way to get through it. So as a tax professional, I also am a licensed tax professional. We just want to make sure that you know your options by saving, and how it makes it more tax advantage when you do take the money out. So the goal at the end of the life, it's your life, it's your business, it's your plan. We just want to make sure that you have all the knowledge, all the information, just like all these other panelists has expressed, of what your options are, what you can do on the financial standpoint. So that's what we're here to help you with. We're here to help you with the long-term planning. We're here to help you with the planning right now of how we can financially stabilize your portfolio or start a new one, or help you with your business. That's why I said the business credit repair is a part of our partner services. We do have a company that assists us with that. So whatever your needs is, it doesn't matter. Business credit, finance. I have a business banking partner that wasn't able to make it today. So we are connected to multiple credit unions, banks. We have partners with presidents within the bank. So wherever you're located, I don't care what state you're in, we can help you and assist you establish whatever you need in regards to your business needs. All right. And I'm going to end with that, because I know we have been on the call a long time, and I want to give opportunity for people who have questions, or if you just simply want to tell us who you are and what you do for your business, and how maybe you can, provide services to us that can help with what we're doing here. And you can just start by raising your hand. All right. Does anybody have any questions, just at least in regards to what I just spoke about? Okay, I think I see somebody in the chat. All right, does anybody have any questions for any of our panelists right now before we leave? And does anybody want to speak in our, I see a hand up. Okay. And I'm sorry. Before we stop, there was one more thing. I want to make sure TK has a chance to talk about. We have one more program we did want to talk about tonight. It's in regards to business FICA tax. So does anybody have if for people that have a business, he's going to explain just a little bit. I just want to make sure he does get to talk, because our business partner was not able to join us today, but he's going to tell you about that program. Okay, so TK, can you take it from here?
Okay, great. Do you happen to have the employee well slide?
I'm
If you
sorry.
go,
Yeah,
okay,
I can allow you to share your screen if you have it up.
don't have it. Okay.
All right. But you can start talking about it while you're bringing it up.
I don't have it up. I'm just going to let you guys know there is another strategic partner that is specialized in allowing you to take advantage of 4 IRS tax codes that basically give you a money back, put money back into your company if you're paying FICA. So, excuse me, how it works is simply that you have a consultation with EmployWell, which is our strategic partner. And I hope you guys understand, because a lot of times when you start talking about strategic partnerships, everyone is in this singular thought process. That's not how this company works. How Master Wealth Builders works is the people that we say strategic partner are integrated. So as soon as you do a consultation with us, if you say you need a service, we're going to send you directly to that person, not in terms of option, but a flow through. So the company is called Employ Well. And what they do is once you provide a additional benefit, which is basically, here we go, perfect. Can you guys see the screen? Right. So once you provide an additional benefit to your employees, this is at no cost. This is just an additional benefit to whatever benefits they already have. So essentially, HR provides them additional benefit, which is a preventive care benefit. And it's allowing employees to sign up with healthcare programs and all kind of things that are preventative. So what the government does is give you a discount on your FICA taxes, anywhere between, uh, 5,000 to maybe more. As it shows here on the slide. Can you make it a little bit bigger? It could be up to $700 per employee. Now, this is a two-way street. Not only will the employee get, I would say, about 10% back on their paycheck, the company itself receives a discount. There's a catch. The money that you save, you will have to reinvest into another investment. You can't just save, let's say, if you had 100 employees, as the slide says, you can't just save 70 grand and go spend that on, let's say, a new car. In order to stay compliant with the IRS tax codes that you see on the screen, you must reinvest the money that you saved from your FICA discount into another investment, which is why we partnered with this company, because Master Wealth Builders has very strategic investment vehicles. The fixed index annuity that Shantae talked about is only one, but the idea is for a company to take 5 to 30% of their net profits, put it into another investment, and then use that investment as a hedge. So we love this program because it not only saves you money, it also gives you a chance to enhance the lives of your employees, because this is an additional benefit. All right. So there is a simple way to contact this company. What we'll do is put it in the chat. I don't see it. Can you, there's another one with their QR code. Can you,
Okay.
I
I'm
think,
sorry,
I think,
I was having some
yeah.
trouble downloading. Okay, so let's see.
All right, no worries. So what we'll do is we'll just put the information in the chat. If you are interested, you can reach directly out to our strategic partner, or what you can do is reach directly out to us, and we'll get you the FICA discount program. All right, any questions?
All right, so thank you, TK. Does anybody have any questions for TK? If anybody has a business that can benefit from this, and even if they don't, if you have somebody that knows, we can definitely look forward to talking to you to see how we can strategically align and be able to help business owners that you know that need help from it. I would like to, at this time, I was asking if anybody wanted to, if you don't have a question and you have a business, if you just wanted to shortly tell us what you do. I've been looking at the chat. Jessica Mendoza, you say you do consulting, you support nonprofits, funders, and change makers. Can you just unmute yourself and just tell us who you are and introduce yourself to everybody?
Hi, I'm Jessica. I've been in the nonprofit space over 10 years. Through that time, I experienced a layoff during COVID and started my own consulting firm supporting nonprofits with strategic planning, board engagement, just providing any skill set that I've learned to support other smaller nonprofits that were trying to kind of get a leg up. I noticed the one big thing that was happening is I was working off a sliding scale and basically giving my services for free because the nonprofits couldn't afford it. So what I've done is I've gotten some funding to be able to provide those services for free to nonprofits. So it's been an interesting adventure with this journey that I'm on. But if anyone needs help, whether it's just consulting on the nonprofit side or funders trying to find the right nonprofit, a lot of times in the nonprofit world, development fundraisers are slim pickings, and it's a 2-year lifespan. So sometimes working with a consultant gives you that one-on-one space, and you're not seeing a different face every time when supporting nonprofits. So I also help on that aspect as well. But that's pretty much it.
All right, well, I appreciate it. Thank you, Jessica.
Jessica, do you have a website and a phone number?
Yes, I will drop the website. I did drop the phone number already, but I'll go ahead and do the website here
All right,
shortly.
thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I did see your phone number in the chat. I really appreciate you being here today. And see, that's a perfect example. We're trying to organically build here so we can create a genuine organic community of business professionals with all of our knowledge to help in a specific way. So just as a primary example, what Jessica is offering because of her experience can help the next nonprofit or any other skills or services she has to offer. Thank you so much. We look forward to meeting with you. Another person that dropped their information in the chat, Tanya Austin, you're in the local area, but like I said, we're here helping people all over. So if you would like to just say something for a quick moment, express to people about what you're doing and what services you can help and provide to them.
Good evening. Thank you so much for the opportunity to just express the services that I already provide and for the education that I gained through this brief meeting. I'm located in Maryland. I am local. I'm a notary public, and I also am a small business consultant. I basically my realm of specialty is to help up and coming businesses with their zoning compliance needs and services, whether it's from starting out the commercial use permit or the use and occupancy or remaining. I'm sorry, I can't even talk. In order for them to remain compliant, or if we have a situation where you're not compliant, you already have a penalty or a no use form that's been submitted to your company, just getting you to the place where you need to be. And I also am the owner of an event space and photo booth company. We rent out event spaces and we also offer photo booth and 360 services to commercial companies and small businesses, along with personal entities like, when you have proms and graduations and everything of that sort as well.
Oh, wow, that is completely awesome. I thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to reaching out to you, and I'm sure everybody here would love to, learn more about you too and see. Obviously, these are all services we can all use, so that is so awesome. Thank you so much. We'll be reaching out to you soon. And another person I do see, he is on our team. Jason Barbara, can you unmute yourself? I would like for you to for you to tell people what it is you do. We did have somebody asking about, I believe, trust earlier, but it was in relation to business. But Jason Barber has a business that specifically, he's not the person that, does the legal work like Carmen does, but he has the books that he has created. And I advise everybody that's considering setting up a trust or any type of planning personally, family, or for business to go through him to utilize his book as a tool to have that conversation with your family, business partners, so on and so forth. So that way, when they get to somebody like us and Carmen, they already have all their stuff detailed and lined up and know what they want to do. And you're just coming to the professionals to get advice. Jason Barber, you can go ahead and mute yourself, and we would love to hear from you now.
Let me. Yes, how you doing today? My name is Jason Barber. I'm the founder and CEO of Legal Will, Not a Bill. I educate people. I partner up with legal kits and I provide kits to people. I do will kits, trust agreements, and living wills. And I try to educate people and tell people, especially with the living trust agreement, that they sit down with their kids and educate them to keep that generational wealth going. And I tell people all the time, documentation beats conversation. So I'm just here to provide for $20 that they sit down and make sure they have something in place. Because I tell people all the time, something is better than nothing. So I try to educate people and get them to understand how important it is, not just, of course, having documentation, but passing the generational wealth with the knowledge. So I'm glad to be here and I thank you again. So leave a will and not a bill.
Thank you so much, Jason. Happy to have you on our team. So, Jason, please leave your contact information in the chat along with your website to where they can obtain the information that you're providing. So everybody should, definitely click into it. I don't care if you already have, trust planning and will planning setups. I always tell my clients, you're always going to continue to make adjustments, changings, reassess your situation. So you just want to always stay on top of that. I feel that's very important. Thank you so much, Jason. And this is your opportunity before we get off. Does anybody else have any additional information that they can provide to us, on maybe something you're already doing, how people can benefit from your business, even if it's not business related? We want to know what you're doing and what your business is. I think I see somebody with their hand up. Stephanie, you can go ahead and mute yourself.
Sorry, my background is a little noisy. I'm going to try to talk through it as fast as I can. So, hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I am calling from Maryland. And the company that I have is Gift of Life Healthcare Services. And we specialize in teaching people CPR as well as first aid. We also offer mental health first aid. I know a lot of people have never known that there is a such thing as mental health first aid. I'm currently getting into the position where I can teach other people to be instructors as well. So that's my baby. So I did drop my information in the chat earlier, and I'm going to go back on mute because my baby's here, and I'll just put my information in again if anyone is interested. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for sharing. I appreciate it. So we just want to make sure everybody's connected on the call here. We will be having our next webinar, so we'll send you out the meeting for next month. So for people that aren't currently involved, if you get involved, we can make sure we include you in on the things that we're doing. We want to make sure today we all stay connected. So you're going to hear from each one of us on the panel. Going forward, we want to address your needs or whatever you need. Does anybody have any questions at this time? And we'll also let you know if there's other classes going on, even if we're not the ones giving it. We want to make sure we refer you or put you up to date on the resources that are going. We do have a website on Facebook where we have our website, but we do have a Facebook group. If you go to Master Wealth Builders, definitely go ahead and join us. The Master Wealth Builders group within Facebook, we actually put information and content in there all the time. And we want to make sure you can also advertise what you have going on as well. So we want to make sure people know what you have to offer. We do small business spotlights at least once a week. We're currently revamping our entire website so we can have tabs and resource tabs that take you directly to our resource partners. And we want to do a small business spotlight for each business that's representing on this call at least once a week so that people have an idea of what you do and how they can reach you. So we want to have an organic networking green book where we can all support each other with our services and our products. Even if you're not a business service based like we are, we want to make sure we utilize your services and what you provide. So don't forget before you leave, drop your information in the chat so we can all stay connected, and we will let you know when the next meeting is and what our topics of discussions will be. If you are in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, we do in-person events once a month, and we probably have other classes going, but we want people to be connected from all over the earth. So we will continue the webinars. We have professionals out of the country, in the States. We are connected everywhere. We want to make sure everybody gets what their needs. So anybody doesn't have any questions, does our panelists have any final thoughts or anything you want to say before I let everybody go? And you can just speak freely. All right. Nobody have any final questions, any final thoughts, anything to add? All right. Just make sure you drop your information in the chat, and we'll make sure in the next few days we get this out to you and you have everything you need, and somebody will contact you to talk one-on-one, whether it's strategic partnership or help with any of the things that we're talking about today. All right. All right.
Just say something.
Go ahead, TK.
Okay. I just want to give you guys the opportunity to download the chat. If you hit the three dots, there's a button that says Save Chat, where you can have that on your computer with the information you need to reach out to whoever you like. And then I also would like you guys to please support Master Wealth Builders by coming back every single month. I know this was an information blast to your face, but we do these classes online every month. We have in person every month. So invite other people, come back, and learn slowly or learn incrementally. But the idea is to leave your knowledge where it's constantly growing. Leave yourself open so that you constantly can use new tools. And my job, and what most of these panelists try to do, is bring you the latest and, of course, the greatest. But it's probably information that you not only didn't know about because we're licensed in lanes that you're not licensed in. So please come back.
All right. Well, thank you to my panelists again, everybody. Andrew, Eric, thank you, Wanda, for joining. Carmen, Jennifer, Melissa, always love you. Want to make sure we acknowledge everybody that's on the call, and we will move forward and continue to work together and grow as a small business community. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your night.